In this video, I'm going to show you some more tattoo shading skills, which is using a mag to shade inside a circle, following the circle shape. So I start wherever I can start, and every time I land my mag, let me move to the middle first. This is a clip from my tattoo shading workshop from earlier this year, where I spent 5 days teaching about the mag shading foundations. Every day I talk about 3 to 4 tattoo shading foundations and then put them together towards the end. So I am following the shape, but I'm not going like this. Understand? Every time I land on the side of the circle, I have a imaginary line here. Do you guys know what is it called again? Tangent line?
Yes.
Tension?
No. Tangent point?
Like where it touches?
When was the last time you guys took geometry?
Oh, so like
Or calculus even?
it's obtuse.
Use it elementary?
There's a landing point. There is a line here that cuts it. That's the tangent line.
Oh, tangent.
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 Oh,
Did I
yeah.
ask?
I thought you
Right?
said no, I thought you said tension.
Oh no,
tangent.
tangent.
Oh, yeah,
Tangent
yeah.
line.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
So that's imaginary tangent line, and every time when you move side, the tangent line is like shifting. Okay? So when you land, your mag is overlapping on the tangent line at that tangent point. So if you're moving 100 times, every time you put down your mag, it's a different direction. Understand? So then the concept is I go like this. I'm not doing it too carefully right now because I just want to quickly show you the direction. But with the dominant side shading, you could go very far. This workshop was designed to help people completely understand how to use a mag in all different ways. And using a mag to shade a circle is something we learned towards the end of this workshop. Until you can't do it anymore. Okay, that's about 3/4 of the circle you can do with one same technique. You just continue it and focus on your overlapping density. That way it's very smooth. The reason I'm not going this way is that you have to tilt a lot to make that line sharp. And it's hard to tilt this much because tilting the machine is very uncomfortable for your hand. And also it's kind of hard to tilt for a long time. And especially when you're tilting your machine and you're changing angles constantly. And you have to keep it tilt the same. It would be very wobbly. I'm sure I can find some samples over there. So I wouldn't do it that way. I would do my most comfortable way. And for the left side, I have no choice. It's like, I don't want to do that tilting thing, but I have to. So I would still kind of have to do it this way. But I would not follow like this. I would not go like this. Because that way you can kind of have like a million overlap and overwork the skin. What I do here is I kind of divide it into sections. And then for every section, I kind of like finish with a certain length of stroke. For example, I would for the section from here to here, I only connect once. And then from here to here, maybe I'll come back another one time. And then one more time. One last time. So by doing that, I can count how many times I have to extend. If I do not divide it into sections, I will do it like this, which I'm sure some of you did. That way you kind of extend many times with a lot of skin trauma. Okay, so I want the trauma I made to be countable. So I kind of divide it, and then I probably connected maybe 6 or 7 or 8 times and got it done. And also when I do the division there, I know where I am where I am doing the extending. So when I do the extension, I am a little bit extra careful. Because in my mindset, I'm like, okay, now it's the time that I'm overlapping one more time. So I'll be a little bit more careful. And then for the middle part, you just do the same thing like the star. Which is the stuff we learned yesterday. And all the way to finish. Okay? So again, I used only 3 skills: dominant, weak, and the fill in. Is there any questions?